Motivated teams that we'll see this coming season, Jesse, as winners of the 5A state title in 2024. Last year coming up just short against the Page Patriots, losing 21-14 in the state finals in Chattanooga. We're going to see a motivated Cooper Newman. We're going to see a motivated Smoky Bears squad, and we'll see what they come up with in game number 1 tonight to kick off a 2026 football season. Jesse, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. Glad to be up in the booth with you. And you're right, this Sevier County program is highly motivated. My lasting memory from that state championship game a year ago against Page was when they went to present Sevier County with that silver trophy. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted to touch that thing. It just kind of sat there for a few minutes. That's how motivated the Smoky Bears are to win a state championship. They know it got away from them last year, and they are built for success once again this fall.
What we'll see from Sevier County is some of the key departures, including Bryson Hedrick, Joey Gallison. Hedrick had over 1,200 receiving yards and 17 touchdowns. He was an all-state selection. Joey Gallison, over 170 tackles on the defensive side. He was an all-stater as well. What they bring back, though, is what everybody's excited about. It's a UConn football commit in Cooper Newman, 3-year starter who has been as good as advertised. Mr. Football last year, he was all-state last year. He's got all the tools, all the intangibles that you would want in a high school quarterback. He's got the experience, and he's got athletes around him. Parker Newman, a Duke football commit, had over 1,000 receiving yards a season ago, along with double-digit receiving touchdowns. He's got Nathan Patterson, 1,000-yard receiver, 1,000-yard rusher a season ago as well. They bring in Braden Maples as well, who was just up the road at Gatlinburg-Pittman, led GP to a state championship game where they fell short to Martin Westview. But Maples, over 1,200 rushing yards on the ground, 27 touchdowns for him. You got 2,000-yard rushers in the backfield, all kinds of weapons for the Smoky Bears and Cooper Newman. As we've got the captains out at center field. It looks like Sevier County has won the toss, and they have elected to receive the opening kickoff. So trying to come up with a statement here in game number 1 as we are just about set for kickoff here at Berktar Stadium on the banks of Mossy Creek here at Carson University for the 2nd annual FirstBank Classic. This was the game that kicked off the season last year in this same spot, featuring these same 2 opponents. It was Sevier County getting the win 27-7. They'll look to repeat that this year and start off the season 1-0 in hopes of making it back to Chattanooga for a state championship. So we'll see Farragut booted away. Back deep to return is Zach Banks alongside Braden Maples. The aforementioned Maples, Western Kentucky commit, will be in the backfield handling the carries for the Smoky Bears this season. As it is football time in East Tennessee, it started on Thursday with Powell and Anderson County. Great games yesterday featuring Oak Ridge and Halls, Maryville and Alcoa, and a double OT stunner. We can only hope that we'll get half as good a game as those were here tonight. As we will see Cooper Newman and the Smoky Bears offensively to open things up. And I think that's what everybody here in purple and white is wanting. As Sevier County just a few minutes away, 15 to 20 minutes away here from Jefferson City. So a lot of Smoky Bear faithful in the house tonight here at Roy Harmon Field. So it will be Farragut to boot it deep. Ball is teed up. Caleb Bell is just about set to boot this thing away. 12 minutes on the clock, and we are underway here in Jefferson City. The opening kickoff will be handled not by Maples, but an up man from Sevier County. He takes it across the 20, barrels forward down to the 28-yard line, as we will see Cooper Newman and the Sevier County offense. Parker Newman is the X receiver, the Z receiver, Diego DeCourcy, offensive line from left to right. You've got Blackman, Smith, Davis Meeks, Anderson Brooks, and Lucas Lair. In the backfield is Zach Banks, Jackson Perry, Nathan Patterson, and again, starting quarterback Cooper Newman.
Tommy, you're a former quarterback in high school. What do you want to do on the first play? Did you like to go deep, see some fun out there? What's your approach here?
I was never as talented as Cooper Newman. If I had his skill set, I'd want to throw it deep on the first play. We'll see what they come up with here. He's got a rocket of an arm, and we'll see what they put to use here. It's a handoff to Patterson up the middle. He's got some space as he's chopped down out past the 30 by the Farragut defense. As it looks from the defensive line, Bronson Sakla, Caden Renfro, Cameron Beaver, Bailey Pyle, Adam Shelton, John Edelman, and Thatcher Cherry. The second line of defense in the defensive secondary, it's Mason Swore, Wyatt Walker, Sean Raines, and Cruz Williams, as it's a gain of 6 on first down by Patterson. And going with a little bit of tempo, 2nd and 4 is Sevier County. Newman claps his hands. We'll see him air it out for the first time tonight. Going down the field for Parker Newman. Caught in stride at the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, 2 plays. Touchdown, Smoky Bears. Play covers 70-plus yards, and just like that, we're off to a rocking start here at Bergtar Stadium.
Need to get that clip out on social media immediately because Duke fans are going to go absolutely nuts over that. UConn fans are going to go nuts over that. That's what makes those two players special, that connection that they have.
Ball was on the 33. They faked the handoff to Patterson. Newman had to adjust. Parker Newman had to adjust to it a little bit while it was in the air, but just a perfect ball there from Cooper Newman, and the Smoky Bears with a perfect start as Mason Akers will be the holder for the point after. The snap is down. The kick is up, and it is booted through by Aiden Ottolini, who's a weapon in the special teams game. So 2 plays. 50 seconds off the clock. Sevier County 7, Farragut nothing. And if you're Farragut now, we didn't talk about them much in the open. They've got a quarterback who's transferred out now at Grace, Corbin Hobson, who's going to be a 3-year starter, a great talent, and he's going to do great things at Grace. Now Jeff Courtney, they've had to kind of retool their offense. I heard that they went with a new offense in the Jamboree. I heard it's a triple option. We'll see what it is. We'll see if it's a wing tee. No quarterback. One of their leading receivers from a season ago, Ethan Farhat, now at Maryville. A lot of pieces have moved on from the Farragut program, and we'll see what this youthful squad for the Admirals can do as you're going up against the top team in the state in 5A, and 2 plays they punch you in the mouth. So we'll see what the Admirals have in store, as it will be Ottolini and the Smoky Bears to boot it away. We'll keep it right here. Again, 50 seconds off the clock, and you see there it's Sevier County 7, Farragut nothing, but we'll see the Admirals on offense for the first time tonight.
And I credit Jeff Courtney for changing the offense for Farragut. Look, you've lost some players to transfer. Your linemen might be a little bit undersized. Play to what your players can do. And if you have to overhaul the offense, then so be it. If you do it well, teams are going to absolutely hate to face you, especially defensively, because they're not going to see that offense very much in today's version of high school football. So you can be that kind of pain in the side for a lot of teams in your region if you are able to pull off this offense. It's all about deception. It's all about grinding out first downs, ball control, clock control. They need to slow this game down.
Ottolini kicks it through the back of the end zone. Carter Collier thought about taking it out, but just let it sail into the painted turf, and we will see the starting quarterback tonight, Hayes Sharp, lead things out for the Admirals. It's him, the signal caller, Carter Collier, the running back, Brenton Haid, the fullback, wide receivers, Johnny Jacobs, Elijah Sadler, the offensive line from left to right, Luca Conforti, Bennett Barcroft, Holden Fritz, John Edelman, Carson Hunley, and the tight end Max Hilton, as this is Collier off left tackles. Got some space out past the 25, and the Admirals have a first down.
Great
you
start.
Talk about the misdirection, and they get Collier off the left tackle, slips through at the line, and a gain of 15 on first down. And here come the Admirals now, looking to respond back with a score of their own.
Great first start, great first play, great confidence builder, especially for some young tailbacks back there.
Defensively for Sevier County, Jackson Perry, Gibson, it's Keir and Valentine. The second level, Russell Martinez and Parker Newman, as this time it's Collier off the right tackle, and he's stood up for a moment, spins off, and he reverses field, but he's finally swallowed up, as missing the tackle initially was Justice Kelly, and Elijah Valentine, and Valentine missed the tackle. Great job by him to stick with it, and he brings down Collier for a loss of about 3. So that'll be second down and 13 after the second down loss. Finishing out the defensive secondary for Sevier County, it's Brody DiFrancesco, Zach Banks, it's Clark and Mendoza on the back end for the Smoky Bears, as it's a run up the middle and stuffed immediately. Picks up a couple is the up back, as he was cut down before he even got going. We've got a player down. I believe it was the ball carrier. As officials will stop play. It'll be 3rd and long coming up after they tend to the injured Admiral down on the field. Great first start, great run by Carter Collier there off the left tackle, and then you try some misdirection. You see the size and the speed of Sevier County. Everybody talks about the offense, but the defense last year, I mean, they gave up 7 points in this game a season ago. They shut down a lot of good offenses last year, as Sevier County can get after the football, led by Mark Chait defensively as the defensive coordinator. they fly around to the football. That's what you want to see.
They do. Of course, we all know about what Parker Newman can do defensively as a linebacker. I mean, he could very well play linebacker in college if he wanted to, but don't sleep on Jackson Perry either. Number 8, an ETSU commitment, very much cut from the same cloth as a Parker Newman. 6'3", 6'4", really big bodied. He's going to play college football, and he could be a tight end. He could be an H-back. He could be a linebacker. He could be a defensive end. And he has a versatile role with the Sevier County defense, so keep an eye out on him, number 8.
92 tackles, 14 for a loss, 8 sacks defensively last year for Perry, 532 receiving yards, and 8 receiving touchdowns, as he can do it both ways. A Swiss Army knife is Jackson Perry.
But this is not what Farragut needs. They don't need to be in 3rd and long. That's not what this offense is constructed to do.
3rd and 11, Collier off tackle, slips one. He
almost
gets near the 40 as Carter Collier, the 2 successful runs that he's had have been off left tackle. That time he gets out near the 40. He'll be marked down right at the 40-yard line, so it'll be 4th down and 3. And for Farragut, decision time early in this one. You can punt it, give it back to the high-powered Sevier County offense, or you can go for it. Looks like we've got the offense lined up here for Jeff Courtney's Admirals. Here's Sharp. Do they try to draw him off sides? Some motion and some movement there defensively by Sevier County, but they hold their water, and then Jeff Courtney will burn his first time out here in this game with 9:30 left to play in the first quarter. And thought we might get a 4th down attempt there, but it looks like they'll just punt it away. Kind of early to go for that there in that scenario. We'll look to punt it away here and give it back to Sevier County. But a great first run. But you see the speed, you see the athleticism. Almost Carter Collier almost picks up a first down there on 3rd and long, but didn't see Hayes Sharp air it out at all. It was strictly on the ground. See if they can work him back into this game. But, man, that was impressive going back to that opening Sevier County drive. We'll see if it takes one play or maybe it takes more than 2 for them to score this next drive. But as good as advertised is what Sevier County is, and we'll see what will happen the rest of the way, but a great defensive stop there after giving up a first down on play number 1.
Sure, and this was the version of Sevier County that I sort of expected in last year's FirstBank Football Classic, and it was kind of a muted Sevier County effort last year. You look back to that game, they were coming off of a state championship. Everybody was thinking they were going to put up 40, 50 points, and it was just in the 20s. But they made a statement in that opening drive, Sevier County did, with a huge touchdown on the second play, and we'll see what Farragut does here.
Going for it. Sharp handoff to Collier. Needs 3. I think he got 2.5. And he looks like he's spotted short of a first down. And 4th and 3, he got 2. And a 4th down stop by the Sevier County defense. Collier, all of his might up the middle. Looked like he had some space, but he was cut down a yard short. And now Sevier County takes over in plus territory to start their second offensive possession.
And again, I understand why Jeff Courtney did it. You're trying to control the clock. You're trying to keep your guys on the field, keep their big star players off the field. But that can be a psyche-breaking play when you don't get that first down. Now it's just more pressure on the defense.
Sevier County's a team, you know better than me. They smell blood in the water.
Absolutely.
I mean, we might see a dagger right here. We might see a deep shot here from Newman as he aired it out for 70-plus on the first drive. 1st and 10, we see Maples with his first carry of the 2026 season, and you see just such an effortless runner off the left tackle, picks up about half the distance, so it'll be 2nd down and 5 coming up. 9 minutes left to play here in the opening quarter as it's a run-off left tackle for Braden Maples, senior Western Kentucky commit, and inside the 40 on play number 2 of this offensive drive. We'll see what Sevier County can come up with.
And you see the juxtaposition of styles between him and Nathan Patterson. Nathan Patterson, a north and south runner between the tackles, go forward. Braden Maples gives you that ability to stretch defense sideline to sideline with his abilities, with his speed and vision, and he likes to get out there on the edge and make plays happen. Back-to-back 1,200-yard rushing seasons for Braden Maples while at Gatlinburg-Pittman.
We've got a tight end and an H-back in Perry and Parker Newman to the right side. Maples in the pistol set behind Newman there. It's a handoff to Maples, and great penetration there by the Farragut defense. Straight up the middle goes Maples, and he's brought down by John Edelman. And he's brought down for a loss of 3. That makes it 3rd and long coming up here for Sevier County. Shot through the A-gap there and brings him down for a loss.
Farragut defense is always predicated upon great linebacker play. If you look back even 10, 20 years ago, they've always had great linebackers, and it looks like they got a few more here today.
A double set on 3rd and long. Has to be an obvious passing situation for Cooper Newman. Fakes the handoff. Steps up, throws it over the middle. Caught by Perry. He's got a first down inside the 30. as they do a play-action pass on 3rd and 8, wide open, streaking over the middle is Jackson Perry. Newman put it in the center of his jersey, and that will move the chains on 3rd down and long as they move inside the 30 down to the 26-yard line of Farragut. 4 minutes gone here in the first quarter.
Veteran play by Jackson Perry there. Your sophomores, your underclassmen probably short-arm that. They're afraid of the contact. Jackson Perry is a grown man. He's going to bring that ball in.
Maples out, Patterson back in. Perry's the H back there. So you see the 2 receivers to the top side of your screen. Fake the handoff to Maples. And a pass a little bit behind Parker Newman there. Pressure in his face. And the pass falls incomplete. Makes it 2nd down and 10. And that was a little quick. Look, maybe Parker Newman got out of his slant route on the bottom of your screen there a little quick. But the pass falls harmlessly to the turf, and Sevier County resets on 2nd down.
You don't see Cooper Newman misfire often. Maybe a little early season rush, just anxious to get that ball where it needs to be. Maybe it got tipped. I know it's kind of hard to see from up here.
Newman, they roll him out, and they throw it back to Perry. He's got a parade of blockers, but what a tackle there on the backside as Elijah Sadler one-on-one with Jackson Perry. He cuts him down at the knees, and what looked like it might be a touchdown only picks up 6, and that makes it 3rd down and 4. So the second 3rd down opportunity for Sevier County. Sadler with a great play there to stop what could have been an onslaught of more yards. Patterson subbed out, Maples back in. Newman, the receiver, Parker Newman, the receiver there on the bottom side of your screen, as it's a double set. Jackson Perry in the slot on the top side. Here's Newman. Quick pass out of the backfield. Finds Maples. Turns upfield inside the 15, inside the 10 as he's wrestled out of bounds. And the linebacker core there for Farragut lost Maples out of the backfield. And Newman lofts it over the defensive lineman's head. Picks up another 1st down. Sevier County moves inside the red zone now. Down 1st and goal at the 10-yard line.
Just showing how versatile they can be as an offense. It's not always 2 plays, 80 yards. If they need to kill some time off the clock, construct one of those 10 to 15 play drives, they absolutely can do that.
I think that's the sign of a good offense is you've got a big play of 70-plus yards, but you can also matriculate it down the field and wear defenses down. On 1st and goal now, Newman hand off to Patterson, and he's met immediately. Penetration now the 2nd time on this drive for the Admirals as meeting him first was Thatcher Cherry, and Cherry brings down the running back Patterson for a loss of 3. So 2nd down and goal at the 13-yard line as we near the midway point of the first quarter.
Tommy, again, drawing back to your quarterback pass, you're in a 2nd and long situation inside the red zone. What's imperative for the offense right now?
It's got to be, for Newman especially, you got to protect the football inside. The passing lanes get smaller inside the 20. Really and truly, you see Farragut with 9 guys there on the offensive line just protecting the football as they fake it to Patterson, throw it out to Newman as he steps through a tackle. Does he have his 2nd of the night? You bet he does. Steps through the tackle of Sadler, tiptoes his way in for the touchdown. 2 scores for Sevier County, both by the hands of Cooper Newman and Parker Newman. The dynamic duo makes it 13-0 Sevier County with a PAT pending.
And I know everybody in Sevier County knows this, but those 2 guys are not related. We all in the media made mistakes early in their time in high school thinking they were, or assuming they were brothers or cousins. No relation, but they certainly have a connection as if they're family.
Ottilini will kick it through as we've got a stoppage here. The officials send a player off for Sevier County, Jake Clark, in favor of Jackson Perry. 6:05 left to play here in the first quarter. Again, 13-0. 2 touchdown passes for Cooper Newman. On the receiving end of those touchdown passes is Parker Newman. Ottilini lines up the point after. We've got a procedure penalty here as the back judge throws in a flag as they talk it over, and now this is slowed down the pace of the football game a little bit. Mike Bates, the white hat, has a call for us. A lot of conversation down there.
Sevier County players are clapping, so they seem to think it's against Farragut.
Is that unsportsmanlike? Sportsmanlike conduct on the PAT will would assume, being forced on the kickoff. No, they'll move it up a half yard. All right. Maybe some words said or all right, so they'll move it up, and then we might say the offense right here is Cooper Newman and the Smoky Bear offense come back out on the field. And a yard makes a big difference when you've got the size and the speed of Sevier County. Newman getting the call from offensive coordinator Matt Penland, and it looks like they'll try to go for two, up 13-0 midway through the first quarter.
And that's what these moments in these early season games are for. See what works in these situations. See what doesn't. You might need this play later on in the season.
Newman under center and inside to Patterson. Thought it was Maples, and they give it to the fullback, Nathan Patterson there. And instead of 14-0, it's 15-0. So the delay of game procedure penalty or unsportsmanlike penalty, one of the two, moves it up a half yard, and Sevier County takes advantage. 15-0, 6:05 left to play here in the first quarter. Is about a picture-perfect start as you could ask for Sevier County. As now we're joined in the booth, Jesse Smithy, Tommy Sweat. Jesse, first of all, thanks for having us here. This is a great event. Thanks to FirstBank. Second year that this has been put together, and you've got two awesome fan bases, two awesome programs that are competing to start off the season.
Love that both communities showed up in droves today, and shout out to FirstBank for supporting high school athletics once again this year, and to Carson Newman as well. If there's one university that's opened its gates, opened its doors to high school football over the last few years, it's Carson Newman. Whether it's our Jamboree, whether it's the FirstBank Football Classic, Concord Christian has needed places to play, Gibbs High School has needed places to play when their stadium wasn't ready, and it's always been up here. So Carson Newman very much has been a steward to high school football here in East Tennessee, and we thank them for that.
Ottolini boots it deep. Collier's got some space as he kind of cruises through a gap there. It gets all the way across the 30 down to the 33-yard line. So a great return from Carter Collier, who's been a bright spot for the Admirals here early on in the first quarter. But everything you hit on there, especially Carson Newman, it seems like time and time again they always step up for the local youth, the local high school programs. You mentioned all the times that teams have needed a facility. You guys have needed a facility. I mean, the administration and the staff here at Carson Newman is always first class.
Credit to the head football coaches at Carson Newman over the last few years as well. They've been great people, great to work with, easy to work with. They understand the importance of high school football to the fabric of East Tennessee, and they want families, players on their campus.
Sharp under center. It's a handoff to the up back who fakes a run outside and cuts it upfield, picks up 3. As far as wing T standards go, that's a perfect start to an offensive drive as Brenton Haig picks up a couple, makes it 2nd down and 7 as they're out past the 35, down at the 36-yard line, but already in a 15-0 hole. 5:30 left to play in the first quarter.
Important not to panic if you're Farragut. Don't try to make something that's not there. Just like that play. Get your 3 yards and go down. Don't try to reverse field and make a home run play.
Sharp under center directing traffic, and then some miscommunication there. The left tackle gets a little antsy and heard some sort of command. Carson Holsey can't hold his water, and it's false start. Back it up 5 yards. So the progress made on first down by Haig is erased with the false start from Holsey, and it's now 2nd down and 12 after the penalty. They break the huddle quickly to the line of scrimmage. Sharp under center. Handoff again. He's blown up. Ball pops free. Here's Perry. Falls on it at the 23. Still loose. And it looks like Farragut might have came up with the football, but they say Perry recovered it down at the 23. I believe this is going to be Sevier County football, and it is.
Wow.
So it was Haig up the middle, spun out of a tackle, but lost the ball. Perry falls on it at the 23. It's still loose. Farragut falls on it, but officials say Jackson Perry recovered it down at the 22. So a 4th down stop defensively. Now a fumble and a recovery for Sevier County deep into Farragut territory at the plus 22, looking to make it 21, possibly 22-0.
Just an unfortunate break for Farragut there. They're going to have to be patient. Growing pains, obviously, with the change in offense. There's going to be miscues early in the season. Just be patient. Learn from these mistakes. Keep working on the offense as the game goes on.
False start kind of shattered the confidence, if you will, and maybe frazzled the Admiral offense, maybe led to that fumble. But a great heads-up play by Perry as they fake the handoff, quickly get it out to Zach Banks, who we're calling for the first time tonight. And he turns upfield, but he lost the football. Can he recover it in the end zone? And he can't.
Just the ball is bouncing Sevier County's way right now, and you see him wearing that number 0 jersey just like Bryson Hedrick did the last few years at Sevier County, and he looked like Bryson right there.
That was a fake handoff. Looked like an RPO to Banks, and great blocking downfield. And Banks could have just waltzed in, but it looked like he wanted to lower his shoulder, and he's tired of hitting Sevier County players in practice in the offseason. He wanted to face some contact, and it almost cost him there, but he's able to fall on it in the back corner of the end zone. Now it's 21-0 as Akers will hold. Annalini will look to boot it through to make it 22-zip.
Banks did a really good job of making that first tackler miss, getting out into open space and making that touchdown happen.
Snap is down, kick is up. Farragut with good pressure, but the kick is good. And your score, 4:39 left to play in the opening quarter. It's all Sevier County, 22-0.
So what do you tell yourself and your team if you're Jeff Courtney right now? Again, you got new offense, new players out there. You're trying to keep them encouraged. They need to cross midfield here and get some feel-good juices going.
I think especially with how young this Farragut team is, what you really need is just a couple of plays. Like that first play, it's 3 yards, but then it's a 5-yard penalty. You need to stack back-to-back 3 plays in a row, 4 plays in a row of positive yardage. It's 3 yards, it's 4 yards, it's a first down. With a young team like this facing such a powerful opponent in Sevier County, you've got to give them some confidence early. And they had that on the first drive with a first down, but then it stalled. They had that there with a run of 3 yards and a positive play, but then it stalled and it's a fumble. So what you got to see here is hand it off to Carter Collier. I'd like to see Hayes Sharp throw the football. We haven't seen him air it out. We don't know what his arm looks like. Get him into a rhythm and try to just stack positive plays on top of one another. As Adalini boots it back for Collier, and it looks like he is, oh, Lord, he's pulled something as he got going, but he's pulled some sort of hamstring. I don't want to speculate, but he never got going as he started running and then just slowly fell down to the turf. So we hope that he's okay.
It is cramp season, Tommy.
Yeah, it is. It's
very, very well could be a cramp. It's early in the game. You wouldn't expect it this early, but if you don't hydrate well, don't hydrate properly, it could very much lead to that. They don't need to lose that young man. He's already got a concussion protection thing on his helmet. They had another ball carrier go down. They can't afford to lose running backs at this point.
4:34 left to play in the first. Again, Sevier County up 22-0. As Hayes Sharp will break the huddle, and we'll see who will replace Carter Collier as it's a handoff to Sadler off the right tackle. Gets out past the 20, and a solid play there. 5 on first down will make it 2nd down and 5. So Sadler, who we saw in the defensive secondary to start the game for the Admirals, gets the call here as Collier goes down, and he picks up 5 yards, gets out past the 20. And now if you're Farragut, this is what I was alluding to. Maybe a first down right here. Maybe if you can get 3 yards and make it a 3rd and short and just try to chip away at this drive and chip away at this lead, that's kind of what you look for. It's Sadler again, as instead of 5, this time he'll pick up 3, and that'll make it 3rd and manageable. Farragut going in a positive direction now. We'll see if they can convert on their first 3rd down attempt here. 3:45 left to play in the opening quarter.
It's almost refreshing to see this offense. You don't see it much anymore. It's almost like being on a natural grass field. You don't see it that often unless you're at a 1A school or a 2A school, which they happen to use this type of offense on the small classifications.
This is a handoff up the middle, and he's driven backwards. That was Haig, and he got going, but
really good spot.
After he picked up a yard, that is a favorable spot there on the far side, as it looked like he might have got a yard and a half. They say he picked up 2.5 yards. And so that's enough for a first down, and the Admirals move the change for the 2nd time tonight, first time since their opening series, as they move out past the 25 down to the 27-yard line. Sharp under center. And we bring it off the left side, and we've got some space. Great blocking down the field as it's a solid run again on first down. This time it's Cruz Williams, the 5'7" sophomore, gets around the corner And he picks up 5 yards again on a first down carry.
And they ran at Parker Newman that time. As you mentioned, great job of blocking off the edge by Farragut's offensive line, and were able to get a little bit of a push on Parker Newman, just enough to create that spacing and get 5 yards.
Back-to-back positive plays on a first down, 2:30 left to play. Can't remember the last time I've seen a Farragut team, maybe this youthful and undersized. They're going to have to use their athleticism going out throughout the season, as it's a handoff to Williams off the right side again, and I believe he got a yard, which will make it 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, they didn't win that battle against Parker Newman that time. Ambitious to challenge him once, maybe a little crazy to challenge him twice.
Is that confidence? Is that – I don't know what that is. That's something. He is a specimen. Duke football in Durham, they will be happy with what they get. Probably what you get with East Tennessee football players is they're always overlooked, I would say. I think a perfect example is what Deshaun Bishop at Tennessee football. I mean, he's a three-star prospect, as we've got a handoff to Sadler here again off the right tackle as he gets east and west and picks up a couple. That will make it 4th down and 2. But a guy like Parker Newman, I wouldn't be surprised if we see his name in 2 or 3 years. If he's not at Duke, he's transferred to a big Power 4 program. You've always got guys that develop well when they get to college programs, and I think a lot of guys at Sevier County will be seeing down in a couple years as all-conference caliber athletes.
I've covered a lot of prospects in East Tennessee, and most of them, when they talk about their commitments, it felt like home. It just felt like it was the right time. When Parker Newman talks about Duke, it is a deep-seated connection, a deep-rooted connection. I could see him staying all 4 years.
Farragut will punt it away on 4th down. We're stopped short on 4th down on their second series. It's a great punt that takes an admiral bounce, and it gets all the way down to the 25-yard line. So they flip the field. Nice job there. Kicking it deep is Caleb Bell, the sophomore place kicker and punter. So 1:21 left to play in the first quarter. Sevier County up 22-0. They scored on a 2-play drive, a 10-play drive, and then a 1-play drive. They have done it every which way you can imagine. A stop on downs defensively as well as a fumble recovery. And we'll see if they can make it 29-0 before triple zeros hit on the first quarter clock. Newman gets the call from the sideline. They break the huddle with 3 receivers there to the top side of your screen. Patterson, the running back, and the pistol set. There's a handoff to Patterson. Steps through a tackle, but he's slung down nicely there by Cherry, as it looked like Patterson was going to scamper through for a few more, but Cherry wouldn't let go of the lower body of Patterson and brings him down for only a gain of 2.
Can we talk about how good the Sevier County offensive line looks tonight?
Very good.
A year ago, you could see a little bit of a drop-off in terms of just overall size from their championship year of 2024. This unit up front looks legit.
After the 2-yard pickup, they go Patterson again, and he goes up the middle, then bounces it out towards the sideline, gets out to the far side hash, and picks up nothing. 3rd down and 8, as we're under 35 seconds left to play in the opening quarter here at the 2nd annual FirstBank Football Classic.
Interesting to see how Sevier County splits carries between their 2-star running backs, 2 guys that are capable of going over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, those are 2 mouths to feed this year, which is a problem that you like to have, and we've got some movement there on the offensive line. A Farragut linebacker came all the way down to the line of scrimmage, and it was Edelman. The left guard for Sevier County flinched, but I believe they're going to tab Farragut with going into the neutral zone. As they try the hard count, and it works. Waiting on an official call. All 3 officials there at the football to discuss it. It looked like one side judge had a call, and the other side judge on the Farragut sideline had a different opinion. But it will be encroachment against Edelman. Instead of 3rd and 8, it's 3rd and 3 in what will likely be the final play of the first quarter.
You just can't make mistakes like that and continue to help Sevier County out.
So a bunch set to the top side of your screen. It's still Patterson exclusively on this drive. Newman, as they hand it off on a jet sweep. That is a completion there as they hand it off to Banks, and Banks barrels forward, has plenty for a first down as he gets all the way out past the 45, and that will do it for the first quarter of play All Smoky Bears scored on their just the second play from scrimmage. Defensively, they look sharp. And after one at the FirstBank Football Classic, it is Sevier County 22, Farragut nothing. As we step aside here at Carson Newman University.
Life moves fast, but no matter where you're headed, we've got you covered. We're here for all of life's first moments, getting the keys to your first home, building the foundation for your future, turning your big idea into something bigger, and having the freedom to enjoy it all. Because life never slows down, and neither do we. Wherever life takes you, bank on FirstBank.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
To Williams and tackled right at the line to gain.
Nice.
Needed one, and he got it. Good spot there as the Admirals gamble down 22. It's now or never there as they pick up a first down and move it out past the 30-yard line and a new set of downs. Controlling the clock here in the second quarter as well. 8:20 left to play in the first half. Here's Sharp again. They send a man in motion. This is Sadler, but it's a handoff up the middle to Haig. And Haig barrels forward with some hard running, picks up about 4-5 yards on first down. As here comes Farragut with their best drive so far, nearing the 40-yard line.
At what point, though, do you start throwing the football? I mean, you're down 22 points, and I know you want to work on the run game, but you also have to stretch that defense out just a little bit, keep them honest.
I mean, you've got what we've seen. You've got 8 guys in the box for Sevier County, and it says beat us over the top. I know that they don't have Bryson Hedrick on the backside anymore, but there's 8 guys in the box for Sevier County. They know, and the corners and the safeties are inside. As we've got a fumble on the snap, Sharp's just going to fall on it, and disaster avoided there as Sharp avoids the turnover, but a loss of 3 makes it 3rd down and long. Now they're behind the chains again, but you saw it there on your screen. 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and the cornerbacks and the safeties weren't far off of the edge players there for Sevier County. They are all packed in, and the running lanes are slim for the Admirals. They'll break the huddle 3rd and long now. 5 minutes gone in the second quarter. Now it's an I formation here. We'll see Sharp air it out for the first time tonight, and that's terrifying if you're a quarterback. Jackson Perry to your left, Parker Newman to your right, brought down for a huge loss to make it 4th and long.
You just saw 2 college-sized linebackers come at you at the same time.
That made me jump.
Both 6'4", right around 230, 240. Those are 2 grown men, and, of course, they finished off that play.
It'd be a cool story, I guess, in 5 years. I got sacked by Parker Newman and Jackson Perry.
Absolutely.
Jeez.
And lived to tell about it.
Yeah. It will be Farragut back deep to boot it away. This is Caleb Bell at his own 12-yard line. Zach Banks at his own 45. A low liner of a punt. Takes an Admiral bounce out past the 50, past the 45, and will be spotted down at the 45-yard line. 6:14 left to play in the first half as we've got Sevier County now the first time that they've been stopped all season long. And a great job by Farragut defensively. It was what could have been the catch of the game so far that Banks laid out for there on the goal line. Officials say it was incomplete, but they had to punt it away, and now we'll see what they can come up with starting this drive at their own 45-yard line, up 22-0.
I suspect they'll feed Maples a little bit on this drive, really see what he can do with this offensive line and this offense carrying the football.
I'll be curious to see what Matt Penland and the offensive staff has in mind, as this is Maples off left tackle. Great block there on the edge, and Maples just using his athleticism to pick up a gain of 3. But you go from having Nathan Patterson, who I think surprised a lot of people last year as a sophomore. He was a workhorse for him late, leading them all the way to Finley Stadium in Chattanooga. Now you've got him as a 1,200-yard rusher. Braden Maples, who's a Division I talent, Mr. Football, All-State selection. You've got 2 mouths to feed. I wouldn't be surprised if, I mean, this is maybe a little vanilla for what they'd like in the first game, but later on when they play some big region games, when they play Grace out of conference, when you get into the playoffs, I think you'll see a lot of cool things that they'll do with Maples and Patterson, maybe on the field at the same time. But when you got that many athletes, you got to spread the wealth.
Absolutely. Penland is one of the more bright offensive minds in this area. He has shown that as offensive coordinator at Sevier County over the last few years. And you don't want to roll everything out in week 1.
No.
You don't want to show all your opponents everything you got on film. So, yeah, definitely vanilla type of football for Sevier County, just making sure you're executing and establishing some chemistry early on.
Deegan Harmon catches the Cooper Newman pass on the sideline, but it was a tremendous job in pursuit by Abraham Shelton, who erases the 3-yard gain on first down. Now it's 3rd down and 10. 5:30 left to play in the first half. Newman rolls left. We see him out of the pocket again. He fires downfield. Pass behind his receiver, Banks there, as he had the line to gain, had space, but Newman maybe got his feet around late. Maybe he was rushed, but it's behind the intended receiver, Zach Banks, and it falls incomplete. Now back-to-back stops defensively for Farragut, and now the second time in a row we've seen Zach Banks back deep to boot it away.
Cooper Newman a little bit off on target, but you can see the arm talent there. Rolls out to his left, kind of throws across his body on the fly, and still delivers a strike in there with some velocity behind it.
I mean, he just flicks his wrist, and it flies 25, 30 yards. He's got tremendous arm ability, as Banks with a better punt than the first time as it finds Sadler down at the 23-yard line as he will whistle and put his arm up in the air for a fair catch. A great punt there from Banks, and now we'll see Farragut again starting at their own 23-yard line, 1st and 10. 5:13 left to play. Still no score in the second quarter, but Smoky Bears up by 3 scores.
When you have an athlete like Banks as your punter, and you talk about Matt Penland possibly throwing some cool stuff out there, we've seen it the last few years with Alcoa when they had Eli Graff as their punter. He was their quarterback. When you have Banks back there, he can run it, he can throw it, he can do a lot of things. I suspect he's going to make some big plays on fake punts throughout the year.
You get to a 4th and short near midfield. I mean, you've got all alarms will be sounding if you're a special teams coordinator. As Sharp hands it off to Williams, and he is popped after picking up a couple off left tackle. That'll make it 2nd down and 8. 7 minutes gone here in the second quarter. As we saw Hayes Sharp attempt to throw his first pass of the night, but he was swallowed up on 3rd and long by Jackson Perry and Parker Newman on their previous possession. We'll see if he can complete his first pass of the season. Try to stretch out this defense. Is still 8 defensemen in the backfield or on the line there, as that was going nowhere. Williams off left tackle, and he was brought down in a hurry by Mason Akers.
Yeah, definitely Mason Akers got in there, made that play, reading the keys, if you will.
Yeah, reading the keys. You got to read them.
Be interested to talk with the Sevier County players after this game just about what it's like to defend this offense. Again, you just don't see it in the 5A and the 6A realm that much. How they were able to prepare first game of the season, not really haven't seen much of Farragut on film.
We've got the second timeout used here in the first half by Farragut. So 1 remaining for the final 4:05. And they'll talk this over on what is 3rd and long. But, yeah, it used to be, going back to where you would see the triple option, I believe it was just strictly Gibbs for the longest time, and they still maybe run a little bit of it. They've got the athletes. Brad Turner has the athletes in Coreyton to run a spread offense. In the past few years, they have set up tremendous records offensively for the Eagles. But that was really the only team that you saw. You know, Ray County over the years has ran the wing tee, but you see it in the smaller divisions, and you see it with an inexperienced team, maybe an undersized team, especially by Farragut standards and by 6A standards. So you got to simplify it. I mean, that's, I believe, what Jeff Courtney has done. And you lose your quarterback to transfers. You lose a leading receiver, a couple leading receivers, 1 to graduation, 1 transfers out. But, I mean, it's not the prettiest offense, but when it's ran right, it is very, very effective. And we've seen a couple of glimpses so far, but after the positive plays, it's usually met with a Sevier County stop. And now it's 3rd and long. We'll see if they'll run it, and they will up the middle as he picks up 2. And that will make it 4th down and 7. And just under 4 left to play in the first half.
Just not comfortable throwing the football. And that's something that you'll want to see by week 5 and week 6. If they can establish some running lanes out of this offense and start to grow the offensive responsibilities of their quarterback throwing the football, then they can be, again, a thorn in the paw of some of these teams in their league. But they're going to have to add that to the offense quickly.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll get any easier next week having to face off against the Powell Panthers and Matt Lowe. We'll see if that passing game can evolve going forward in the season, as it's a punt from Bell, as Banks thought about getting near it, but it will roll all the way down to the Sevier County 28-yard line. And with 3 minutes left to play in the first half, it's still 22-0 Smoky Bears. And the offense, not something we're used to seeing, it's gone stagnant here in the second quarter. 2 drives, 2 punts.
Right. And again, I think they're trying things out early in the season, trying to get guys going, seeing what plays work, which plays don't work. But at this point, I think they're going to be looking to score.
I would agree.
Go ahead and tack on that 4th score, make the league comfortable, and then know when you come out of the break, you just need 1 more to get that clock running. It's
Patterson beside Newman in the backfield. will be Farragut to get the ball to open up the second half as we've got a jet sweep off left tackle.
Nice
and
tackle.
a great hit there coming up from his defensive secondary position. That was Mason Swore, who put a wallop on Noah Mendoza, who was navigating traffic, and then once he got upfield, he was obliterated at the line of scrimmage, and after it's all said and done, no gain. 2:45 left to play in the first half.
Again, there have been positive signs for this Farragut football team.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's been on offense, whether it's on defense, again, it's about stacking plays on top of one another to make a bigger impact in this game.
Newman drops back to pass, fits it into a tight window, and a great catch there. Surviving the contact is Diego DeCourcy, and that will make it 3rd down and 3 as Newman had plenty of time there back in the backfield. And it looks like his initial read wasn't open. He had Patterson out of the backfield, but decides to check it down on a 10-yard curl to DeCourcy. And instead of 3rd and long, which they faced the last 2 drives, it's 3rd and 3.
DeCourcy needs to have a big year. He didn't have the opportunity last year. I think some injury got in the way. He transferred from GP a couple of years ago. I first got to know him as a defensive back. I really liked his defensive back skills as an underclassman. Again, derailed a little bit last year, and he needs to have a big year this year.
So 3rd and 3, and it looks like they were going DeCourcy's way there on the bottom of your screen, and nothing doing. Newman throws it out of play. So for the 3rd straight drive, we will see the Smoky Bears put it away. And that's a credit, I believe, to Farragut. I mean, that's a great stop on 1st down. It's 3rd and short. You've got to bow up and defend, and that time they got pressure and forced an incomplete pass. A great stop there from the Admirals. Banks back deep at his 22-yard line. We'll boot it away to Sadler, who's at the 27. Banks with a high arcing punt, bounces at the 35. And a Sevier County bounce down to the 25. Here's where it will be down. So 1:42 left to play in the first half. Farragut has not made it past midfield. They've tried to pass it one time, but were brought down for a huge loss. You've got 1:42. You get the ball coming out of the second half, and this seems like a time to we've got to open some things up and see if we can get it across midfield, see if we can get it in even field goal range to try to get some momentum going into the half. This has to be the last drive of the first half, I'd say, for Farragut's sake, correct? I mean, you can't let Sevier County touch the ball. I know they've been stagnant, but you can't let them touch the ball with a minute left trying to score before the half.
So much pressure on that Farragut offensive line to pass pro in that situation. We saw the quarterback get swallowed up there in the backfield trying to drop back to pass.
This is a handoff off the left side. Williams trying to navigate through traffic and getting clotheslined down by Elijah Valentine for no gain. 2nd down and 10, 90 seconds left to play in the first half.
Elijah Valentine, one of those key transfers in the offseason, coming over from Gatlinburg-Piven to join the Sevier County football team, already making a big impact.
Clock ticks at 1:15. Farragut taking their time, and if it's a minimal gain here, you might see a timeout by Sevier County. They've got 2 to work with as they send Williams in motion, but they give it to Sadler coming back off a misdirection, picks up 2. 1 minute left to play in the first half, and it's 3rd down and 8, and Todd Loveday signals to the side judge for a timeout.
They want one more opportunity to put points on the board. Again, going into the halftime up 4 scores, you get a little bit more comfortable. You feel like you have more command of this football game. I think they already feel like they have true command of it. But just points-wise, it's easier to look up there and see 29 points, possibly 30 points, whatever they want to do going into half.
So it's 22-0. That was our score at the end of 1. Tommy Sweat, Jesse Smithy up here in the booth. A minute left here. We've seen 3 drives from Sevier County. Doesn't look like we've seen any rhythm. Newman's missed a couple of passes, but Farragut's got some pressure and forced a couple of incompletions. If you're Farragut, do you pass it here, try to pick up a first down, and just say, hey, let's get to the half? Or, I mean, Sevier County's going to call one more timeout. They'll have about 45 seconds when it's all said and done to try to score before the half.
I'd like for them to give passing a shot here. Again, try to get that first down, keep Sevier County's offense off the field, and, again, just have some feel-good moments going into the half, something to build on.
We got a huddle back at their 20-yard line. They'll break it 3rd and 8 out of the timeout from Sevier County. And we've got misdirection. This is Sadler, and he has stopped at the line of scrimmage. I believe he'll be brought down for a loss of 1. That is Isaac Taylor Stanley in there to stop it. And Sevier County has used their third and final timeout of the first half. 50 seconds left to play in the second quarter. So after the punt, barring a return, about 35 to 40 seconds to make something happen. Probably have it around the 35, 40-yard line if it's a solid punt. Plenty of time for this explosive offense to get points before the break.
But let's keep an eye on Sevier County punt block here.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 years, they've made all kinds of huge plays, blocking field goals, blocking punts, returning them for touchdowns, or getting them into field goal range. They are very good at it. They've schemed it up well, and they instruct their players on how to do it. So keep an eye on that right here.
When you play for a state championship the past 2 years, you've got to have the offense, the defense. Special teams is the sneaky third part to that makes you competitive and play for gold balls, and they have all three levels, as we'll see Banks and Maples back deep to return. The first couple punts, we just saw Banks exclusively, so two returners back there, and Bell will boot it away with 49 seconds on the first half clock. Sevier County
not going to go for it.
Not bringing any pressure. Bell kicks it towards the sideline. Not a shank, a solid punt. But that goes out of bounds at midfield.
Our guy over there in the purple shirt he could not field that.
He had it and lost it. Butterfingers over there on the Sevier County
up-downs
side.
at the half. Give him some up-downs at the half. You got to bring that in.
Midfield, 50 yards to go, 42 seconds to work with. No timeouts to work with for Sevier County as they'll try to put points up, only points here in the second quarter, but more importantly, go up 4 scores before the halftime break. Newman gets the play, brings it to the huddle as we have Maples behind him in the pistol set. Tied in, H-back to the left, 2 receivers down the bottom side of your screen. Newman fakes the handoff to Maples, throws in the flat. Parker Newman. Here he is in space where he's most dangerous. Stiff arms a tackle, and he's chased out of bounds. A gain of 12 on first down. Exactly what you needed. 7 seconds off the clock. And new set of downs as Sevier County marching towards the Ken Sparks Athletic Complex there.
And it's going to be a difficult decision for me on who to give our MVP chain to. Now, we have a FirstBank Football Classic MVP chain that spins.
That's pretty cool.
It spins. And, last year, Cooper Newman got the MVP chain. This one's different. Both he and Parker Newman are making a case for it in this first half.
Speaking of, here's Parker Newman again. He's brought down short of the line to gain. Clock will run 25 seconds now. Sevier County's got to go with some tempo. Second down and short. 20 seconds left. Here's Newman. Takes the snap, spikes it down, and the clock stops at 15 seconds. So now for Sevier County, when you pass the ball, when you run the ball, got to be towards the sideline, or you've got to get a first down and hurry up and spike it, try to save some time.
I love the look that Sevier County had out there on that previous play. You had Deegan Harmon, the freshman, down there on the bottom, and a bunch of receivers on the top, trips on the top, all seniors it seemed like.
Newman pass over the middle, finds his man. Here's Banks, has a first down across the 20. Clock will stop while they set it up as they'll have to hurry. 7 seconds left. Looking for a spike as they blow the ball in. Snap, spike, 3 seconds left. And we'll see if Ottolini will come out and kick this field goal before the half or if it will be a heave towards the end zone. Ottolini has a great leg that I believe will be in range for him. And it looks like we will see Ottolini, the kicker for Sevier County. Aiden Ottolini, senior place kicker with 3 seconds left in the first half to attempt about a 35-yarder. What will be the final play of the first half? This is a live ball. If Farragut can get pressure, got to be wary of that and have good protection. And Jeff Courtney will burn his last timeout to try to ice Aiden Ottolini. So it was a great first quarter there from Sevier County. Second quarter left some to be desired as this really the most yards that they've had this entire second quarter. 4 drives, including this one. 3 punts. Never really looked in sync. It's not really something that we'd say that they'd be worrying about in the halftime locker room. I think that they hold themselves to a very high standard. I don't think they played to that standard there in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, for Sevier County, just a couple plays there in the second quarter that really could have gone their way. Just a pass by Cooper Newman that was just a touch behind. If that gets reeled in, then possibly they score there. But again, definitely some things to work on there in the second quarter for Sevier County. Suspect we're going to see a crisp version of them coming out in the third quarter.
22-0. Akers will attempt the hold at the Farragut 25-yard line. Ottolini will attempt this 35-yarder. Snap is down. The kick is up. It's got the leg. I believe it's got the line. Straight through. And on the final play of the first half, Sevier County not able to render any points for the first 11 minutes and 57 seconds, but Aiden Ottolini boots one through as time expires in the first half. And your score, the second annual FirstBank Football Classic after 24 minutes. Sevier County, champions in 5A in 2024, runners-up last year in the 5A classification. They lead the Farragut Admirals 25-0 as Tommy Sweat, Jesse Smithy here. Tell me your thoughts of that first half. It was exactly what we thought. Sevier County scoring on play number 2 of the game. Proceeded to tack on 2 more plus a 2-point conversion, and then they lost their stride a little bit, lost some momentum. Credit to Farragut defensively putting on some pressure, but 25-0, it's kind of what we'd expected in this. Sevier County coming out pretty motivated and not as sharp, but that's the first game of the season.
Yeah, Sevier County, I think, ranked by a lot of people in the state as the #1 team in Class 5A, even though they did not win that state championship a year ago. But they came out and made a statement early on, as you had mentioned, play number 2, deep ball from Cooper Newman to Parker Newman. That's going to be a play that they'll remember for the rest of their lives, how they started their senior year. And as the first half went on, I mean, Cooper Newman made some nice throws, missed a few throws. I wanted to see more out of the run game. I expected more out of the run game just because of what happened in the offseason with the transfer of Braden Maples over to Sevier County. But again, we're going to see that worked on throughout the night, throughout week 2. Coaches always say, the biggest improvement happens from week 1 to week 2. Maybe we see that run game really take off in week 2.
For Farragut, what's Jeff Courtney saying to his squad? For a lot of these guys, it's the first time they've seen varsity experience. Hey, guys, you're going to be playing at a college stadium against the top team in 5A. If you say we're down 25-0 at the half, I'd say that they take that with how youthful they are and inexperienced they are. What's the message for Courtney to the Admirals at the break?
Don't get frustrated. Don't just drop everything just because our new offense isn't working in week 1 of the first half against a team that is supposed to win a 5A championship. Stay with the process. Continue to learn. Get better at your craft. And again, by the time they get to week 5, week 6, maybe it's running smoothly. Maybe they pull off a couple of wins they're not supposed to. But right now it's all about improvement, working on the offense, making sure you're not shooting yourself in the foot.
He's Jesse Smithy. My name is Tommy Sweat as we have started halftime activities here at Berktar Stadium. As your score at the half, it is Sevier County 25, Farragut 0. This is the FirstBank Football Classic here at Carson Newman University.
We'll have a check presentation down at halftime from FirstBank. Definitely appreciate their sponsorship of the Football Classic as they support both of these schools. We'll be joined at halftime also by a special guest in Justin Price, head football coach at Grace Christian.
A lot coming up at the half. We've got plenty to go over. We'll give you a first half recap. We'll hear from the Rams head coach, Justin Price, as they were off this week. One of the few teams that were off in week 1. We'll see what it'll look like for the Rams coming forward when they kick off their season next week. But a lot coming for you here at the half as
we have Justin Price.
We've got him right here. Coach, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Hey, Jesse. Hey, guys. How are y'all doing?
Phenomenal, sir. How are you?
Doing good. Enjoying, I guess, a bye week. I get, kind of weird when it's the first week, but we enjoyed a little time off.
How did y'all handle that last year? Because I know you had an off week in week 1, and then, of course, you have to grind all the way from week 2 through week 11. How did that go last year?
It was fine. I think, sometimes when you get in a rhythm in the season, and you're playing, you kind of find your identity. Sometimes a week off can slow you down a little bit. I felt like last year our kids handled it well. Obviously, it is a little bit more of a grind with that, not having that week off. But the way the season went, I thought our kids and coaches handled it well.
You guys come into this season with a lot of expectations, had a great 2025 campaign, made it deep into the playoffs. And how do you manage expectations this early in the season?
Well, I think it's it seems cliche, but really the expectations inside our program is even higher than, I guess kind of the talk of, the talent that we have and the success that we've had last couple of years. I think that, but that comes with, how do you approach those expectations within grace, within our program. And really it's about maximizing each individual so that we can be the best we can be collectively this year and going to work and having great leadership, great coaches and great support staff at Grace. I think allows us to, one, to get these expectations placed on us, but also be able to handle them in a way that there's no distraction there.
Coach, I've got to talk about the quarterbacks. They always catch my eye. Graduated a good one last year, but then you bring in a guy who showed flashes just of excellence last year here for the game that we're calling for the Farragut Admirals. Corbin Hobson will take the snaps for your guys. How has he kind of fit into the system and the culture at Grace? Has it been seamless? Has it taken some time? And what are you most excited about for Hobson to get going, next week when you kick off your 2026 football season?
It's been good. It's been a seamless transition for Corbin. We've got a lot of seniors that have played a lot of football that have set the culture that we have at Grace, and so we're pretty much player led in that way. And our senior class, Terrion Thomas, Caden Weber, Jackson Coffey, Will DeLong, those guys have set a standard for us that if you come on, whether you're a new student, a transfer, whatever, that this is how we do things. And so they hold them accountable, but also kind of teach them and show them this is what we do. And Corbin's fit in great. I mean, obviously he knows there's a lot of talent around him. The quarterback spot can carry a lot of pressure sometimes. And I think he's handled it well to know that, I just need to use my skill set to help our team and get these guys the ball and make sure I manage it the right way. And, Corbin's had a good preseason, a couple really good scrimmages for us. So we're excited just to watch him progress this year and just see how good he can be.
Another personnel question. Early in the season last year, I mean, a guy that was just burst onto the scene, Terrion Thomas, goes down with the lower body injury. JV Stinson comes out and I believe turned a lot of heads on the outside world. I believe you guys knew how talented he was in your program and coming up through your program. Now that you've got Stinson, now that you've got Terrion Thomas back healthy, I mean, what are the possibilities for you guys to have both of those guys on the field at the same time? Are they going to split carries? That's got to make you super excited in the division that you're in, the classification, the type of teams that you're going to play, to have that stable in the backfield to always kind of lean on when things might get tough. But talk about those two for a little bit.
Yeah, obviously it was, devastating for our whole school when Terrion went down. He's such a leader. And, I think God's used that to make him a better person. But now I think he's even more versatile and a better player than he was before that, if you can believe it. But obviously JV being his little brother, I think, when Terrion got hurt, there was a motivation about JV that you kind of saw in the way that he practiced. And he's always practiced hard, but maybe it was even a little bit more last year of carrying even more reps and more of a load. And JV's a phenomenal talent. Him and Terrion are, they're both high level, but they both have their skill sets and their strengths. And, you got Terrion, who's just as good a receiver as he running back, great hands, more, the stop and go stuff is so electric and high level. And then JV is just, he's lightning in a bottle. He's so fast. He's explosive. So it's going to be fun, having those guys. We'll move them around a little bit, obviously, to get them the ball as many times as we can. JV is, and Terrion both, they understand, they'll split some carries and some touches, but at the end of the day, both those guys want Grace to be really good and whatever it takes. And but we won't be smart coaches if we're not finding a way to get both those guys the ball quite a few times.
Speaking of getting the guy the football, Caden Weber is a guy that right now is committed to Army. I know Air Force offered the other day. I think Navy's been in on him as well. And the more huddle film I watch of Caden, or just any clips that I see of him training, the more I am impressed with his skill set and his abilities. What's his ceiling right now?
He has had a great summer. He went to a lot of camps. His linear speed is really high. I think he ran like a high 4.4 at the Vandy camp. But when you watch Caden, he's one of those, he's versatile, but it's on both sides of the ball. He's arguably one of our top 2-3 defensive players. He's a great receiver. He can run the ball well. Caden is just one of those guys. He can really do everything. He never comes off the field for us. And so he's just, he's 6'2", whatever he is. He's about 190 right now, 185, and just that speed. But he's got the frame, I think, even at the next level to, even get bigger and, to excel in whatever side of the ball they put him on. I think he really prefers receiver, and he could be a really good one. But just what we've seen through him, this summer is his ability to stretch the field. And, Hobson's got a big arm, can throw it far. And right now, Caden can go get it. So it's been, Caden works really hard. He's a great kid, comes with a great family, and, high GPA, and just an all around, great representation of Grace. And wherever he chooses to play, I know he's committed to Army right now, and which is a huge opportunity for him, life changing, obviously. So Caden's going to have a big year for us. We're excited for him.
And I think I saw his vertical leap is 35, 36 inches. I mean, that's up there in your territory.
Yeah, well, if I'm standing on my brother's shoulder.
Justin, we're seeing something tonight with Farragut's offense that I want you to think back to your early years, maybe at Campbell County or even coming over to Grace Christian, when you're installing a new offense and things aren't going right in the first game. What's imperative for 14, 15, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds to know and to learn out of this life lesson of just staying patient and keep working on getting that offense going?
Yeah, it's key. When you're trying to install a new system, it's, number one, getting the kids to see that you have answers built in, that there's the system in of itself can get these players in good spots to be successful. Sometimes the execution takes a little longer to catch up to it and getting everybody on the same page. But I think, getting the kids to believe, number one, in the coach itself, but then two is the system. Does it provide answers for, whatever you're facing that night? And there's a million different ways. You can run the wing tee, you can run the spread, you can, the I formation, all these great offenses that have stood the test of time. They have answers, and I'm sure Farragut has those, and they'll get better and better each week. And the same thing when I was at Campbell County and when we went to Grace the first few times. I mean, it just takes a little time. And even Weston Edmondson, I've heard him say he said, when I came to Grace, he got in our offense, it was a little bit of time, and then all of a sudden it just clicks for him. And then when that happens, that's when you see, that the offenses that you've installed kind of take the next step. And when does that happen? It's different for each team. And, it depends. Do you have experience? Do you not have experience? Weston was a senior, so it probably happened a little faster for us at Grace. But, I know Coach Corey's a phenomenal coach, and those guys will figure it out.
Coach, last thing, and thank you so much for your time. With that week one bye, looking forward to Carter, a couple things. Did you use this first week to kind of work on the fundamentals, or were we using 2 weeks to get ready for Carter? For the Hornets, their quarterback transferred out to Oak Ridge. They've got a lot of new pieces. Jody Scruggs has graduated. Brody Sparks has gone. They've got a lot of new faces over there. What are you looking for your guys to accomplish in week one? Are we focused more on Grace, or are we trying to game plan to see what Carter has? What are you looking forward to in week one against the Hornets?
Well, we took this week to get a little head start on Carter, but at the same time focus on us and who we are, and it's what's our identity going to be. And so we've kind of just a continuation of fall camp for us. Took a couple days, that were a little lighter last week. We had a high school retreat that we were on, so we were missed a couple of days of practice. And so, it's just more about us, but also, we want our kids to be fresh next Friday. And, sometimes that grind of that July, August time can start wearing on them a little bit before you even play a game. So, I think we got a little bit of rest this week as well. And then obviously Monday we'll treat it like a game week. So, you'll have those first game things that can happen, but, I think our team's experienced enough to hopefully that those things are behind us a little bit.
Justin, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the halftime show here, and definitely wish you guys the best of luck. I know some big games on the schedule. I know 5-Star Preps will be out there to cover it.
Yes, sir, Jesse. I appreciate what all y'all do, man. Appreciate you guys.
That's head coach Justin Price of the Grace Christian Rams. Known him for a long time, Tommy, and excited to see.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, great guy. And
big Justin Price guy.
And love talking ball with him and his brother, and just kind of being around their program and what they got going right now at Grace Christian's pretty special. And you can go to a game day out there, and it feels like a fair, like a carnival. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff going on, and they truly make Fridays or Thursdays or Saturdays, whenever they play, they make it special.
Didn't used to be like that. What they've done in their short time there has been pretty remarkable. They're a team to watch in that Division II Single A. Just awesome conversation with him. He gave us a lot there. That was very insightful.
Yeah, and I love hearing him talk about just, again, stalling a new offense and kind of what that can feel like as a coach. But, man, as a teenager, it's got to be frustrating. And I'm sure there'll be frustrating moments in the locker room today for Farragut or for the fans or for the coaches. But they'll have to grind through it, and I think they will.
I think they will, too. We've got 5 minutes left here in the halftime period. We'll grab a quick breather, and we'll come back with a recap, get you set for the final 24 minutes, as it was all Sevier County in that first half. 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, a field goal, 35-yard field goal by Aiden Ottolini to cap off the first half, and they lead it over the Admirals at the FirstBank Football Classic by a count of 25-0. We step aside here live from Berktar Stadium on the campus of Carson Newman University.
Life moves fast, but no matter where you're headed, we've got you covered. We're here for all of life's first moments. Getting the keys to your first home, building the foundation for your future, turning your big idea into something bigger, and having the freedom to enjoy it all. Because life never slows down, and neither do we. Wherever life takes you, bank on FirstBank.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Back here at Carson Newman University on the banks of Mossy. 3 minutes left to work with here in the halftime break. Sevier County's made their way back out to warm up for the second half. They lead it 25-0 over the Farragut Admirals. Tommy Sweat, Jesse Smithy alongside me here in the press box. Joined by another guest. We've got Justin Price at Grace, and now we go Kevin Lane at Central in the early goings here. Now in year 3 in Fountain City. Coach, first of all, thank you so much for your time. What was it like driving back from Kingsport last night, being down 29-15, so much emotion, playing at such a historic venue, and you guys were just so dang tough and came back and won it on a 2-point conversion, 30-29. Talk about the emotions, the highs and lows of that Week 1 victory.
Yeah, I mean, that getting on the bus coming home with a 1-point win was a lot better than a 1-point loss. Can tell you that, but we were going for 2 no matter what, and we scored there, and I told the kids that, so that was kind of the plan, but yeah, I mean, we played really well at times, and then, kind of killed ourselves with penalties and pre-snap penalties there and got ourselves backwards on a couple drives there. They hit a good deep ball on us there early in the first drive there, and I took the lead and we missed the first extra point. But, I mean, it was just fourth quarter, we kind of took the game over. The defense stood up on back-to-back drives there and held Dobbins Bennett and got our offense back on the field, and we ran our 2-minute offense the best we could.
Your quarterback, Caden Long, a guy that threw for over 3,000 yards last year, ran for over 1,000 yards, pretty much did similar things last night. How much confidence did you have in him there in that fourth quarter?
As long as he's getting the snap, I'm good with it. If we don't roll it back there and miss him, I feel good about it every snap. So we were putting on his shoulders. We got in several formations. There's no back in the backfield, and he was the back. So that was kind of the play calls at that point.
And he's a guy that I talked to him at the 7-on-7 event in June that the University of Tennessee puts on. He talked about him putting on more pounds. I mean, that way he can sustain the contact when he's running, right?
Absolutely, yeah. He put on about 18 to 20. He's down just a little bit, so we're trying to get a little bit more back on him from just the heat and those types of things. But, yeah, I mean, he's he was tough last year. He's still tough, and he's trying to be smarter in certain moments. And but yeah, he's the same guy. He's just knows the offense a little bit better and is reading everything a lot better.
Coach, you talked about in the preseason, Central always has athletes. You graduated a couple of really good ones in Javeston Badgett and Torrin McAfee. I mean, how do you replace those guys? You've got guys to replace them, I know that, but I feel like just what they brought to your culture, especially early on in your tenure as head coach at Central, what's it been like to replace those two on the back end, just how special they were in and outside the locker room?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just said it. I mean, those are two huge culture guys for us. Javeston Badgett, when he practiced exactly like he played, with a smile on his face. He ran everything full speed. And obviously we miss him. We miss Torrin as well. They're both in college. Javeston's running track at Carson Newman, and Torrin's at Concord University playing football. But yeah, I mean, that class and the class before kind of set the standard in the culture, and the kids that we've brought in have grown up under them, know what the expectation is. And we filled some holes there, and obviously they're still youth and we got to grow, but feel good about what we're doing.
Kevin, we've seen really special seasons out of Central High School over the last few decades. To see this place on the upswing, you're at the helm of it, and see that community surround this program, how exciting is it?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, I was there as an assistant coach and in really, really good moments. And obviously we had to beat Maryville, and that didn't happen very often when they were on their run there early. But now being back and being the head coach there and knowing several people that are still there in the building and have been there and still come to the games, and the text message, I mean, we won that game last night. I think I had 30 to 40 text messages from people that I talked to just here and there with congratulations and all that stuff. But it's awesome to be a part of it.
Talk about the full circle moment for you as a coach. I mean, I remember L.A. Hedrick, he's my uncle. Yeah. He's defensive coordinator with, you guys were assistants back under Joel Helton back in the early days when he was bringing that program to its, first initial rise. Talk about the lessons that you learned and the culture and the tradition, the pride that was in Fountain City way back when. And have you tried to bring some of that back to now you're the head man at Central here in 2026? What are you trying to keep, carry on for such a legendary coach and what you learned under him?
Yeah, man. I mean, that obviously getting your first job with Joel Helton at 22 years old wasn't always pleasant. I can tell you that. But I learned a ton from him. I learned how to care about kids. His quote was like, kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And he probably stole it from somebody. But when I heard that the first time, that kind of set in on me. And as far as the pride and tradition, I mean, it's there. That field house hasn't changed very much. There's been a few modifications, weight room and things like that. But the old pictures are still in there, and we're trying to keep things as intact as we can and add just a few wrinkles in there, kind of want, new modern era stuff. But his legacy's still there. And then obviously what Bryson Rosser did when he got the job. And we're just trying to get it back to the top.
Coach, one last thing. Battle of Broadway next week. Emotional win. You've got to, try to come down off that, celebrate for a little bit. It's back to work in one of the best rivalries in East Tennessee. Fulton on the rise. We'll see it this year. They're in a battle with Macon County right now.
Yeah.
What are you looking for in just all the things that rivalry entails? What are you looking forward to the most? Coming next Friday night in the Battle of Broadway.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's a rivalry game, and just not to coach speak, but we're going to try to treat it like any other game, and we know the energy is going to be up, and we know that they're going to be pumped, and we're going to be up, and I want to just clean things up that we did wrong or messed up on last night, and kind of do the things great we did last night, and keep doing those, and just get ourselves back level-headed tomorrow when we bring them in on Sunday, and watch film and look at it and take our notes and learn from it, and then. Get ready for the Dirty Birds, as they call them.
The Dirty Birds. I love that. Coach, thank you so much for your time. Congrats on the win yesterday. Really looking forward to you personally. I'll be calling your games this year. I'll be with you on Friday night. Excited to see what the Bobcats have in store. But thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Head coach for Central High School, Kevin Lane, joining us. We had Justin Price earlier. I mean, that was two phenomenal coaches that not only are great football coaches, they care about the young men that are playing high school football in East Tennessee. Love those guys. Thank you so much for your time. As 12 minutes on the third quarter clock, we are just about set to start second half, as it will be Aiden Ottolini back to kick it deep to Cruz Williams and the Farragut Admirals. as we will see Farragut with the football, try to get some points on the board, try to chip away at this Sevier County lead that sits at 25.
Glad you mentioned that Fulton game. Forgot that was going on. I'm so heavily invested in this game tonight.
You might be there next week.
Fulton down at the half, 17-6 to Macon County, and Catholic and Riverdale knotted at 7 at halftime. That game is loaded with Division I talent.
We'll be seeing some guys in that game playing on Saturdays. Need the Falcons to step it up. My Dirty Birds, as Kevin Lane called them, down 17-6. They'll turn it around as Ottolini boots it through the painted turf towards the Ken Sparks Athletic Complex, and we'll see Hayes Sharp, who did not throw a pass in that first half, dropped back to pass one time, but was not able to get it off, and it was strictly on the ground for the Admirals in the first 24 minutes. We'll see what they can come up with as they start at their own 20-yard line.
Can they go shotgun look out of this formation? Because I feel like they need a little bit more time when it comes to the pass game, because after you fake all the handoffs out of this offense and you're dropping back to pass, it's almost too late.
This is Sadler off the right tackle, and he is swallowed up by Braden Russell, who went low and then drove him backwards for a loss of about 1.5 yards. So second down and long after the stop on first down, and the Admirals on play number 1 go in the wrong direction.
Yeah, this offense just not built to come back from big deficits, not built for second long, third and long.
Sharp breaks the huddle. We'll see him drop back to pass. Got some time, airs it out deep, and the pass is just over the outstretched hands of, I believe, Brenton Hay. Great coverage there on the back end by the Sevier County defenseman. I believe that was Harmon in coverage, as Sharp had plenty of time. Nice job by the Farragut offensive line to give him some time and just overshot him, but great coverage there on the backside by Sevier County.
Still promising passing opportunity there for Farragut High School, and that's what you're going to want to see more of here in the second half. Take some chances.
Noah Mendoza in coverage for the Smoky Bears, right on the hip of the receiver for the Admirals. Just like that, it's 3rd and 11. So it's a handoff up the middle to Cruz Williams. He picks up a gain of 3, and that will make it 4th down and 8. And it's a 3 and out for Farragut to open up the second half. Another great stand there by the Sevier County defensive unit. Still pitching a shutout. Know it's early, but still don't believe that Farragut has crossed midfield. It has been a tough sled trying to move the ball against the Smoky Bears.
Yeah, definitely had some bad breaks go against them in that first half that stopped some drives. It's going to be a tough early couple of weeks for Farragut, I think.
I didn't realize they go Pound next week. They've got Upperman in week 3. That's a tough start to the year for anybody.
Upperman, a very physical football program, had a lot of success in recent years.
That was almost blocked as Bell kind of got under it, topped the punt a little bit, but still rolls out a good ways, and it will be down at the Sevier County 35-yard line. Off the edge with some pressure was Sevier County. Almost got to it, but a good punt to flip the field for the time being, and we'll see Cooper Newman and the Smoky Bear offense for the first time in the second half.
Looks like they have Nathan Patterson back in there at running back. Get him some carries here maybe. But you're right, when you have that much talent on the offense, feeding all the mouths, keeping everybody happy is going to be difficult at times, but it's a selfless program.
Yeah.
If you've been around Sevier County for very long, you know that it's not a lot of ego out there.
They are definitely one of the most talented programs, and they play for one another. Newman's going to air it out deep on play number 1 of the second half. Great coverage there in the defensive secondary, is running stride for stride with Zach Banks, with Sean Rains, and Newman with another overthrow tonight. First one was to Banks, almost crowded inside the 5-yard line, but it was an incompletion that time on a skinny post pattern. Overshot his man on first down. That makes it 2nd down and 10.
I bet in October and November he doesn't miss those throws.
I would be willing to bet. They fake the handoff on the RPO to Patterson. They get it out to Banks, and he is slung down for, looks like, what could be a loss of 1, as Patterson had room up the middle, but Newman throws it out on the far side, as throwing a block was Parker Newman, but it wasn't Zach Banks. It was Noah Mendoza who grabbed it, ran right into the defender, and a great job to hold on there on the outside. Drops him down for a loss of 1. It's 3rd down and 11. 2.5 minutes into the second half. Newman's going to drop back to pass for the second time tonight. Over the middle as Perry hauls it in, runs over a man at midfield. That was almost in slow motion. He caught it, turned upfield, lowered the shoulder, and picks up a huge first down on 3rd and long.
The ETSU commitment, sure-handed, durable, can take the beating over there across the middle and still make the play.
They go misdirection with Patterson. They've done that a couple of times tonight just to get the second line of defense eyes moving in another direction, and then Newman right over their ear with a great completion. And then we see Patterson, who's put on some size. I mean, he was more of an outside the tackle guy last year. He is between the tackles with the muscle that he's put on in the offseason. That's a gain of 7 on first down to make it 2nd down and 3.
And you nailed it earlier. He got better as the year wore on in 2025.
He was phenomenal.
And by the time we got to the state championship game, he was a certified, legit threat.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of production he can come up with this year.
Fake it to him. It's Perry. Got a couple of blocks on the outside. Runs over a man with Parker Newman throwing a block there on the numbers. And a pass in the flat to Jackson Perry. Picks up about 12 yards. And another Smoky Bear first down in a drive that started at their own 35-yard line. They are now at the plus 31 of Farragut.
I love throwing to tight ends. If you played against me in Madden, that's all you'd see.
You would spam the
I
tight
love
end
throwing
flat.
to tight ends. Tight ends are always open.
Here's Newman. Handoff to Patterson. Got some space, and he drives the pile forward yet again. Stop for a gain of 3, but then barrels forward for a couple more. That's a gain of 5 on first down.
Yeah, very much an alternating style between Nathan Patterson and Braden Maples.
Their 4th or 5th game of the season, I really don't want. I don't want to play them now. I wouldn't want to play them then. When they get in a rhythm, and I would say maybe it's a drive with Patterson, maybe it's a drive with Maples, but man, that is going to be a two-headed monster in the backfield with Newman and all the athletes that they have around them.
Right, and there's some new pieces up front for the Sevier County offensive line, so you got to give them time to adjust as well.
Fake the handoff to Patterson, and they throw it to Parker Newman on the far side, trying to get upfield, but picks up nothing. Great job by the Admirals defensive unit. And that gain of 0 makes it 3rd down and 5.
What did you think about Cooper Newman's recruitment, commitment announcement with John Gruden? Did you catch it?
That was pretty sweet. I mean, I forgot about that because I was like, man, how did he respond? It was on the field with Gruden, right? I mean,
yeah, family was there. It was
is that like a family friend or like they just calling a favor? He's probably got those contacts with Gruden.
I'll tell you a Cooper Newman Gruden story here in just a moment.
Here's Newman, passes it in the flats, got a man. He's got some space out past the 15, dragging defenders down inside the 10-yard line. As they fake the handoff to the left, they throw it back here to the near side. That's Avon Mitchell, who picks up another Smoky Bear first down as we near the midway point of the 3rd quarter. And now Sevier County inside the red zone. 1st and goal at the 10.
So John Gruden was very familiar with Cooper Newman, unbeknownst to me. I brought Cooper Newman and Parker Newman to the Knoxville Quarterback Club at Calhoun's on the River, give them some Player of the Week honors. And Gruden already knew what they did in their last game, what mistakes they made, and he loved to talk ball with the Newman boys.
Here's Patterson, who tries to bounce it off right tackle, and he's cut down by the Farragut linebacker. That was a great job in defense by Wyatt Walker.
I started a new one. They might have to sit down there.
And we've got an Admiral down on the field. Looks like cramping starting here in the second half as the training staff will look at him. 6:16 left to play in the 3rd quarter. As that's an awesome story about Gruden. That seems like on par for Gruden to maybe Newman had an interception. He's like, well, you missed the guy in the flat. That sounds like something that would happen.
So I'm in the back of the ballroom at Calhoun's on the River, and I'm just waiting for Cooper and Parker to come do these interviews. And Gruden's got him by the arm, and he's telling them, and he's coaching them up. And I'm like, they finally got back there. Like, was he asking you about the interception you threw again that game the other night? He's like, oh, yeah, he saw it, and he's already known about it.
He's already watched film.
But, I mean, Gruden has some property up here and lives around here, and so he's gotten to know the Sevier County program and Cooper Newman quite well. And so it was cool to see that collaboration with his commitment announcement to UConn, and definitely a program that's on the rise, and that was a big moment to not only promote Cooper Newman but UConn football.
So we've got the Admiral that has been helped to his feet. Looks like cramping will be a prominent factor here as the Lights have turned on at Berktar Stadium, and sun out of sight here in Jefferson City. But still, early August in the first couple games, cramps are going to be a massive factor.
How did you combat cramps? Were you a pickle juice guy?
I was a pickle juice guy. I was a mustard packet, and then I had like 2 or 3 bottles of Pedialyte walking around class every day.
Mustard
and I still
packet.
cramped. I mean, it didn't do anything for me. Newman rolls left, gets a great block there from Maples, throws it in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown! Third time tonight, Newman to Newman. First drive of the game, second drive of the game. It's the first drive in the second half, and it's a corner route for Parker Newman, put right in his hands from Cooper Newman, and it's 31-0 Sevier County with a PAT pending. He was wide open there in the corner of the end zone.
That might have actually been Jackson Perry, number 8. Kind of hard to see the jerseys
Can't
from
see
up
it
here.
from here.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was Jackson Perry that got his touchdown there. Either way. Properly executed play, properly executed pass right there in the breadbasket.
Akers with the hold, snap down, kick is up, and it's good. It's Perry from about 13 yards out. Newman puts it right in the breadbasket, and PAT is good. It is 32-0 Sevier County as they get a stop on the first drive, and it's 32-zip Smoky Bears. They are in full control.
You're going to see some running clock here momentarily. Might be joined by a special guest here in the second half as well.
I've heard some rumblings.
We had 2 at halftime there, and maybe a former Vol might hop on with us and talk a little UT football. A lot of expectations and excitement around the UT football. Jersey releases, changed to Adidas in the offseason. It's just been nonstop apparel content.
Yeah.
Nonstop debating on who's going to be the quarterback. And,
Faison or GMAC. Well, can I put you on the spot? Who do we have?
Buddy, I'm so invested in high school football. Like, I don't watch film. I would just be regurgitating what I see on social media. So I am no expert whatsoever on who's going to win the quarterback battle at Tennessee. I like having a dual threat quarterback at the college level. That way, if the play breaks down, you still have a shot to gain some yards with your legs. You're going to see some more chances of a play breaking down at the college level than the pro level, so give me a dual threat guy all day long.
We've got a kickoff to Ottilini. It's returned by Farragut, and I believe we are joined by a very special guest, former University of Tennessee football player, Cedric Houston. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can. How you doing?
How are you? We are wonderful here watching some high school football. How are you on this Saturday?
I'm doing pretty good. Watching some football as well.
Thank you so much for your time tonight, and we've got to jump into it. We've got Tennessee and Furman here in a couple of weeks. I mean, we're not going to ask you Faison or George McIntyre. We're gonna ask you about what does the first game of the season mean for somebody, for these freshmen that have come to to Knoxville, the University of Tennessee. Josh Heupel's got such a talented program. The fans are so passionate. Think about the first time you ran through the tee at Neyland Stadium. First game of the year. What were the nerves? What were the emotions like for these players that they're going to be facing here coming September 5th?
No, the freshmen just being happy to get done with the practicing in the summer and just getting ready to go face an opponent, and rather it be Furman than starting off with Bama or his first game, so you can get those cobwebs off the first game and then get ready for some SEC play.
Cedric, there's been a lot of stuff on social media about Tennessee's new alternate uniforms. What are your thoughts on everything that's been rolled out with Adidas?
I enjoyed Adidas when we played. We didn't know much about Nike, so we were an Adidas team, and been seeing some of the jerseys so far that they've been coming out with, and it looks pretty good. So I'm excited about it.
Even the gray ones, you like the gray ones?
I do like the gray ones. I like
the old Adidas logo. I'm a child of the 80s, 90s. That logo was very much a part of my childhood. I like the old Adidas logo they put on the gray jersey.
They do look. The older ones do look pretty good, but these guys nowadays, I mean, they don't know much about Adidas, so they wouldn't know the difference.
Cedric, you were a highly sought-after recruit coming out of the state of Arkansas. But as a lifelong Tennessee fan, I was glued to the television Thursday night when we saw David Gabriel George's, for Chattanooga Baylor facing off against, what was another Tennessee football commit, Kenny Simon for Brentwood Academy. Did you watch that game on Thursday on ESPN? Did you see what we're getting in David Gabriel Georges and just how much of a freak athlete he is?
Man, great running back, man. Probably one of the best high school prospects probably I ever seen, definitely at the running back position. I actually went to the game. Kevin Simon was my roommate at the All-Star game, at the All-Star game in like Dallas in 2000, and also at Tennessee freshman year. So I went there to support him and Kenneth.
Can you talk about Kenneth a little bit? I didn't realize how much of an athlete that guy was. I know that I believe he was committed early to Alabama, and then he's flipped his commitment to the Big Orange. I mean, you've got the inside scoop. Kevin's got to be just happy as anybody that now his son has flipped from the Tide and he's going to be playing for the Big Orange next season. That's got to be a big moment for him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's pretty excited that he switched over from Bama to Tennessee. Just knowing Kevin, he didn't pretty much probably just make his decision on where he wanted to go.
Cedric, there are a number of players in the area going to Division I programs, Power 4 programs. You have some great running backs at Grace Christian that I assume you coach. And everybody, when they say they're going to commit to a D1 program and they get there, what's the biggest kind of shock that they're going to experience going from high school to an SEC program? Because you didn't run for 1,000 yards until your senior year. Like, how much of an adjustment is it?
Man, it's like starting over, actually. I was the number 7 running back coming out that year, and Jabbar Davis was number 2, and Derek Tinsley was number 5. So I came in with 2 other running backs who were like top 10 running backs. Just putting the work in. It's a lot harder than high school. It's way faster than high school, and it's a lot more physical.
Your running back, Terrion Thomas, is definitely a guy that's gotten some next-level looks. He's back from injury from last year. He looks great. What kind of season are we in store for with Terrion Thomas out at Grace Christian?
Man, Terrion's hungry. His little brother, J.V. Stinson's hungry. My honest opinion about Terrion, outside of the kid at Baylor, I think Terrion's one of the best players in the league. And I don't say that just because I coach him. I mean, I've been a high-level running back. I've coached him for 3 years now, and he's definitely got what it takes.
Can you talk about the intangibles? I know that you could say that you're biased, but there's a lot of statement. I mean, that's a big statement, but I believe you can back it up. What makes him so talented? You've got a guy like DGG who's just such a freak athlete and puts in all kinds of effort. I think everybody here locally talks about Terrion Thomas, but what sets him apart to make him one of the best running backs, one of the best players in the state?
Terrion's vision is out of this world. His hands he's got better hands than a 5-star receiver, and I can put his hands up against anybody. He's strong runner. He never fumbles. He's a smart kid, and he's tough.
I mean, 2 years ago, you talk about his hands. I mean, you're talking about a running back in the same season going for over 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving. How hard is it to wrap your mind around that?
It's hard, man, because me being a 5-star running back, I couldn't run routes good in high school, and I didn't want to run routes. I wanted to run the ball. But he runs great routes. He's got great hands. He gets separation out of his cuts, and he's hard to tackle.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck against Carter next week. Out the door as we end the third quarter here at the 5-star FirstBank Football Classic. Can I get a record prediction out of you for the Big Orange? I mean, it's got to be 12-0, right, for the Vols?
Perfect world, 12-0, but I'll take 8 wins.
I'll take 8 wins. I like that. A tough schedule. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see what Josh Heupel and the crew has in store. Good luck to your guys at Grace kicking off the season against Carter, and you guys will be making some noise in the Division II ranks. But, Cedric, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Loved watching him run football, and especially that 2004 season. He ran like a man possessed. One of the great seasons of Tennessee football over the last 25 years or so, for sure.
We've reached the end of the third quarter. Your score after 3 frames is Sevier County 32, Farragut 0. We come back with the final frame at the FirstBank Football Classic here at Carson Newman University. We step aside.
Life moves fast, but no matter where you're headed, we've got you covered. We're here for all of life's first moments, getting the keys to your first home, building the foundation for your future, turning your big idea into something bigger, and having the freedom to enjoy it all. Because life never slows down, and neither do we. Wherever life takes you, bank on FirstBank.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior.
Back here to start the fourth quarter, it is a Bear offense, and Newman in trouble. Looking left for Maples, it was shut off, and he just has to hurl it out of bounds to avoid further damage. That will make it 2nd down and 10. Still wanted to bring you some high school football, but we have to atone for Cedric Houston wanting to join the broadcast. Really appreciate him and his conversation. Didn't know he was at the game when DGG on the first play of the drive. Did you see him flip over and put his hand out? You could do that back in the day,
absolutely,
right?
For sure. Could absolutely do that. And but I wouldn't have been able to get back up or
I would be hurt.
Find my equilibrium and make a play. But he's such a big deal that late last year I took myself and 2 or 3 of the staff members at 5 Star Preps, and we drove down to Baylor just to see him play. There were other big games that night, but it was just like we knew we were going to see a show when we went down there. And, of course, Baylor's an unbelievable campus, and David did not disappoint that night.
Newman throws it to the near side on 1st and long, as there was a procedure penalty to proceed that incomplete pass, and that's a second incomplete pass as it falls out of the hands of Harmon, makes it 2nd down and 15. Hopefully, DGG going back to him, he can stay healthy, and we'll see him at Knoxville Catholic at the end of the season. Because every time, as a Tennessee fan, I get scared. I'm like, when he lost his helmet in that first game, I'm like, please go down, please go down. But he's such a phenomenal athlete that you want to see these things play out and see him out. But I hope he can stay healthy and just do incredible things his senior year.
And for the people in Knoxville who might go see David Gabriel George play against Catholic there late in the season, if you wait around until after the game and you try to talk to him, English is not his first language. It's It's French.
Yes.
And so if he's short with you, it's not because he's not a nice guy, and it's not because he doesn't want to talk to you. I interviewed him at Mr. Football, and it was a touch on the awkward side.
Yeah.
He did the best he could, but you can tell that English isn't his first language. And luckily, I'd been to Canada that summer, and so I'm sharing all of my pictures on my phone and talking about where we went to really close to where he used to live up there, and so try to make a connection that way. But I just hope by the time he gets to Tennessee, he can really kind of aptly fulfill these NIL engagements, being able to talk and be out there in the public because he's such a star.
I think Tennessee does a phenomenal job with their media training. They will get him just in the perfect position for him to succeed. He's going to do whatever he needs to do to be amazing on the field because he's such a phenomenal athlete, but off the field is where we'll see him excel at the University of Tennessee. That there on 2nd and long, it's a pickup of 11 to make it 3rd down and 4 as Sevier County tries to put this one out of reach. It's a handoff to Maples, and we see him run for the first time, trying to break a tackle out past the 30. Tremendous job to hold on for dear life for the Farragut defenseman, and Maples in space. That's what you see right there as he's got some cramps over there on the far sideline. He'll walk to the athletic training table, but you see the burst, and that's what he brings. Patterson in between the tackles, and a little bit of thunder and lightning, what we'll see for the Smoky Bears, but he picks up the yards needed. 1st down and 10 at the Farragut 26-yard line as Sevier County threatening again with another score. This is Patterson now in for the injured Maples, and a faked handoff, and he throws it up to Martinez, and that was a phenomenal job to extend the arms. That's Avon Mitchell as it's in the flat, and I thought Patterson had the run-off tackle, but Newman does such a good job. He lets it sit in the pocket for Patterson or the running back. almost till the last millisecond. Then he pulls it and runs. That time he pulls it and he throws it in the flat to Mitchell. It picks up another first down. They're inside the red zone now. 8:30 left to play in the game. Here's Newman. Handoff. No, he throws it over again. Harmon's held as the pass was a little bit high, and Sadler there in coverage. Contact, nothing called. 2nd down and 10 when it's all said and done.
He'll probably get that call as he gets a little older in high school, but today it didn't go his way. But it definitely looked like there was some hold up there. But when you're up 32 points, you really can't complain at anything. It's just kind of a learning, teaching moment for that young man.
32-0, 4 minutes into the final quarter of play, as Farragut from here on will host the Powell Panthers. We've got it 2nd down and 10. Handoff to Patterson off left tackle. He is swallowed up as he tried to get some space and just went nowhere. A phenomenal job by Fisher Smith and company to bring him down for a loss of 2. Farragut at Powell next week, and the Smoky Bears will travel just down the road to Jefferson County, as Patriots always tough to play, especially up there in Jeffco.
Yeah, they have a young running back, Donovan Jackson, over 1,000 yards last year. He is a junior now and expecting a big year out of that young man. Of course, Spencer Riley, the head football coach up there, former offensive lineman at Tennessee, they're going to run the football and run it hard. So Sevier County's defense is going to see some more run offenses next week.
This is Martinez who's in. Maple's dealing with some cramps, so he stays on the sideline. But Martinez out of the flat, grabs it, and picks up the 2 yards that were lost, and then a couple more to make it 4th down and about 8.
And Martinez was a guy that they could swap in and out a little bit last year, and they got some good productivity out of him. So definitely a nice little third guy to have in there. But back to Maples, I mean, I suspect we're going to see and it be situational based on the opponent. But there might be some games this year where Newman only throws for 150 and the running backs are turning out 200-yard games combined between the two.
That's a good problem to have, as we will see Ottolini for the 2nd time tonight hit a field goal from 35 yards to end the first half. This one will be from 31 out of the hold of Akers. Snap is down. The kick is up. Got the leg, and right down the middle again. So 35-0 after a 31-yard field goal from Aiden Ottolini. And not how you thought we'd get to 35-0, but that's one way to do it. A 2-point conversion and a couple of field goals along with some touchdowns, and it's 35-zip Smoky Bears in full control trying to put this one to bed.
Well, we got a running clock, and Tommy, I'm going to start making my way down to the field because we got a championship trophy to hand out tonight. We got an MVP chain to hand out tonight, and it's going to take me a while to get down that elevator and get down the field. So I want to get down there by the time the game ends, but shake your hand. Thank you so much for joining us and calling this game tonight. Always been a big fan of yours and your career, and I look forward to what you do with it in the coming season. But I know you'll be calling a lot of Central games, and I'm definitely going to have to pick up some of those on air for sure.
Yes, sir, Jesse. Thank you so much for the opportunity. High school football is back in East Tennessee, and I don't believe there's anything better than when they get on the gridiron here in East Tennessee. 6:15 left to play here in the 4th quarter from Berktar Stadium. There's still a good bit of purple and white in the stands on the far sideline. Still some below us as both student sections in full throat tonight. As it's Ottolini who boots it right to left across your screen. It will bounce at the 4 and then roll into the end zone for the touchback. As we will see Hayes Sharp and the Admirals offense with the clock running at 6 minutes. So again, from here for Farragut, I don't know if there's a tougher stretch to start the season. You've got the top team in 5A, Sevier County. You've got a top 10 team next week in Powell in 5A. And then I believe that Upperman next week in 2 weeks in 4A. The Bees, who had a big win against George Quarles' debut in the Webb Spartans 21-20 last night. So you go Sevier County, Powell, and Upperman to start the season. That is a tough stretch for anybody, as this is Haig up the middle. He picks up about 6. That will make it 2nd down and 4 for Sevier County the rest of the way. Again, at Jeffco next week on the road. Host Daniel Boone to kick off region play, then back up to Jonesboro to face off against David Crockett. You've got a Rivalry Friday game on September 25th at Greenville. They step back into region play to host Cott County, back out of region play to face off against the spoken to Justin Price and the Grace Christian Rams on October 8th. They're at Tennessee High School in Bristol on October 16th. They host Bluntstown, Florida on the 23rd, and then cap off the season Thursday, October 29th against Morristown West. For Farragut, again, the first 3 games. Powell next week, Upperman the week after, as they are in one of the toughest regions that you could really ask for. In Region 2, Class 6A, at Bradley Central after they play Upperman. And then you go Maryville, Bearden, at Hardin Valley on a TV game. You host the Cookeville Cavaliers on October 16th at Oak Ridge, and then hosting Cleveland to wrap up the regular season, as we do have a couple of scores from around the area. Macon County and Fulton were battling it out at Bob Black Field in North Knoxville, as we've got a Smoky Bear player down there on the near side 25-yard line. And it looks like he's got cramps in both legs. Never what you want, but he's helped back to his feet. He'll walk to the sideline. 2:17 left to play in the third quarter. It's the Macon County Tigers holding an advantage over the Fulton Falcons 17-6. Try to get you a score update on what is really, really good football in Knoxville Catholic and Riverdale. Is 2nd down and 4 after the stoppage. Great run on first down. This now is Williams. It looked like he might have been grabbed by his face mask there as he got back to the line of scrimmage and then picked up just a few more. So that will make it 3rd down and 3. And Farragut looking to avoid another punt. We've got a handoff to Sadler, gets out past the 30, has the line to gain, and then a couple more as he's brought down at his own 34. Clock ticks at 4:20 left to play. And again, Sevier County blanking the Admirals 35-0. We can tell you with 3:42 left to play in the third quarter, it's Riverdale and Mississippi State commit Hudson Fakua. 85-yard pick six to put the Warriors in front of the Irish 14-7 late in the third quarter over there in West Knoxville. This is a handoff to Haig up the middle after the first down run from Sadler. And now the first momentum that we've seen from the Admirals all night as they march towards midfield, have not crossed the midfield stripe so far tonight, as it's been tough sledding against the defensive front for Sevier County. Great games to kick it off. Well, a great game to kick it off on Thursday for high school football, as it was Powell and Anderson County. They've met in the first or second week of the regular season for the past 9 years, as Sharp hands it off to the left side. Kind of got bumped into by his running back there and picks up nothing. And a flag flies in late, maybe some extracurriculars after the play. But Powell and Anderson County kicking us off on a rivalry Thursday game, and every time they play, it seems like 150 points were scored combined. This time it's 100 as Powell pulls away from the Mavericks late, 56-44. Didn't know what quarterback situation we'd have at Powell, but Jalen Benjamin is set to replace Deuce Rogers for the Panthers to go this season. And they have one of the best receivers in all the area, Zion Jackson, who had 2 touchdown catches in the win at AC. It's unsportsmanlike against Sevier County. Farragut has crossed midfield as it's 1st and 10 from the Sevier County 45-yard line. Talk about awesome games that happened last night. The Battle of Pistol Creek went to double overtime as Sharp under center will drop back to pass. They've got a screenplay set up for Sadler. Set up perfectly. He's got a host of blockers out past the 40, down past the 35, brought down near the 30, and a flag flies in late again as he's brought down at the 31. But the biggest play of the night for the Admirals so far picks up a first down for the time being. But in Maryville and Alcoa, it was Thomas Manu who was, I don't know what happened. I believe he was shoved into a post, a column, had to get stitches in his knee. Missed the final 4 minutes of the fourth quarter as we've got some additional yardage tacked on after the play. Clock is under 2 minutes left to play in this one. And Farragut's moved now the deepest they've moved into Sevier County territory all night inside the red zone. But he misses the first overtime, comes in the second overtime as it's 42-41, And Manu comes in after not playing for over 45 minutes of actual time as Haig takes it up the middle, and he's driven forward by Parker Newman. He takes a snap, he moves to his right, and he wins the game for Alcoa. The first time since the 70s that Alcoa has won 3 in a row against their bitter rivals from Blount County, the Maryville Rebels. Oak Ridge with a walk-off win against Halls in overtime. Without Malik Howard, without Brody Sparks, they go to Denzel Dink Adams Field and knock off the Red Devils. As here comes Farragut again inside, trying to get their first points of the season. Oh, so close as they get inside the 5 down to the 3-yard line. And that will be first and goal as the clock runs 60 seconds left to play in the second annual FirstBank Football Classic. Sevier County putting the final touches on this one to move to 1-0 on the season, but Farragut looking to cash in. Here's Sharp. Pass inside, off right tackle, has some space. He's stretching for the end zone, but he's brought down at the 1 yard line is Cruz Williams as we've got 35 seconds left to play. And a timeout called by Jeff Courtney, 36.5 ticks left on the clock. It was Sevier County who jumped out to a phenomenal start, 73-yard touchdown pass, Cooper Newman to Parker Newman on the second play of the game. Sevier County gets a stop. They have a short field to work with, capped off by a 15-yard touchdown pass, Cooper Newman to Parker Newman yet again. This time, it's a fumble forced by Jackson Perry, recovered by Jackson Perry defensively. Sevier County goes on a 2-play drive, capped off by Zach Banks, who takes it into the end zone. It was 22-0 after that in the first quarter. Nobody scored in the second quarter except for Aiden Ottolini, who booted it through on the final play of the first half. It made it 25-0. And then a touchdown late in the third quarter. Jackson Perry on the receiving end of a Cooper Newman touchdown and a 31-yard field goal by Ottolini earlier in this fourth quarter. And it's an unconventional way to get to 35-0, but nonetheless, as Farragut breaks the huddle, trying to end this game on a positive note and with points to avoid the shutout. They've got a couple cracks at it from the 1 yard line. It's second down and goal. Here's Sharp. Handoff up the middle to Haig. He's in for the score, and the Admirals on the board. A big step for this young program, and Jeff Courtney, you can tell you call a timeout. You've got to get your guys on the scoreboard in the first game. They have battled hard tonight, and that time it was Brenton Haig who took it in for the first points of the 2026 season for the Farragut Admirals. 24 seconds left on the clock as they'll line up the point after. Coming up after the game, we'll have the FirstBank MVP. As Jesse alluded to earlier in the game, it's a nice gold painted chain. Snap down kick is up, and it's good. 35-7, 25 seconds left to play in this one. It's a massive gold chain with a logo in the middle. 5-star preps, of course, that spins like the old WWE belt back in the days in the Attitude Era. I mean, it is legit. It's got to be up for grabs for Cooper Newman. Parker Newman's had 2 touchdowns. Perry has a touchdown and a fumble recovery. I mean, you can pick your poison with who you want it to be tonight, but a phenomenal job by Farragut right there to bounce back, get on the board. His running clock no longer in effect at 28 points as the differential, and we'll see a kickoff and maybe a couple plays from Sevier County before we call week 1 a past venture. It was, again, started off on Thursday, plenty of games yesterday, had a game Concord Christian CAK this morning, a couple of games tonight, and, I mean, we'll blink an eye and we'll be at the midseason mark before we know it. It goes that fast when high school football starts back up. This is Bell to kick it away. Back deep to return is Banks. And Maples back in and back deep to return for Sevier County. He battling some cramp issues. Back into the football game. Bell boots it deep, and we'll see Banks return it at the 3. Methodical way to run through the gaps there as he gets out past the 20, down to the 25-yard line. 9 seconds run off the clock, as we'll see one more play from the Smoky Bears. most likely a kneel down, and that should do it for the FirstBank Football Classic momentarily. We'll keep it here to show you again the most valuable player. Thank our sponsors, and we're going to hit Pals on the way home. Have to when you come up here to Jeff City. Newman in the gun, takes the snap, kneels it down, and that will do it for the second consecutive year in the FirstBank Football Classic. Sevier County has opened their season with a victory over the Farragut Admirals. Last year it was 27-7. This year, 35-7, the final count. And the runners-up from a season ago start off their attempt to get back to Chattanooga and play for a gold ball with a very impressive first half and second half. The second quarter left some to be desired, but still a 35-7 win against a Farragut program that is in rebuild mode. Jeff Courtney and the staff will have to figure out what works. They're going to figure out what doesn't work and what works in the next couple weeks. They've got a tough stretch ahead, but you can guarantee after the first 3 weeks of the season they will come out better for it. And battle-tested, again, Sevier County with what would be, I would classify that as a rivalry game at Jeff County next week, as we've got the two teams shaking hands. And you see Jesse Smithy down there on your screen, phone in hand, microphone in the other, and he's got some hardware to hand out. Try to see what's happening here. Fulton and Macon County battling it out in North Knoxville. 17-6, Macon County holds the lead 7 seconds in to the fourth quarter. And I would assume Riverdale and Catholic still in a chess match. Warriors just grabbed the lead earlier, 14-7. As you hear Jesse Smithy now to announce the most valuable player. Oh, wow. Second year in a row. Cooper Newman. Don't have his official pass yardage for the game, but do know he had 3 passing touchdowns, as he's the motor that makes these guys go. The Yukon football commit with, that won't be his last piece of hardware that he'll pick up in his football career. Threw for over 3,700 yards and 45 touchdowns a season ago to just 5 interceptions. He has a lot of athletes around him. He's got a great coaching staff and a great team as they celebrate with the second annual FirstBank Football Classic trophy. And what a scene there. Great start to the season for the seniors, for the newcomers on the Smoky Bears football team. As, again, always a great time when we can get up here to Jefferson City. Thank you so much to Carson Newman. Thank you so much to the sponsor, FirstBank. Do a lot for 5-star preps. Thanks for having us out here, as we are just about set to wrap it up, as both teams will get some words from their respective coaching staffs. But, again, the final score tonight, second annual FirstBank Football Classic. Thank you so much to the guests tonight. Jared for setting us up. We had Justin Price. We had Kevin Lane. We had BFL Cedric Houston. A lot to be intrigued about, and thank you so much for joining us if you weren't able to make the drive. But, again, the final count, Sevier County 1-0 on the season, and they win it by a final score 35-7. As we say so long from Berktar Stadium, Roy Harmon Field. This has been the second annual FirstBank Football Classic. Good night, everybody.